Hello to all lovers of good movies. In this episode, I'll talk about Palmer's film. Eddie Palmer returns to his hometown after a long prison sentence. He is greeted by a grandmother who is happy to see her grandson. She prepared a room for him and bought everything he needed through the window. He notices a neighbor with a child living in a trailer opposite at dinner. The grandmother talks about the neighbors, calling the girl a problem, and adds that if it weren't for her son, she would have kicked them out of the trailer a long time ago. Also, a caring grandmother gives some tips for adaptation. He should get a job on Sundays, attend church, and in no way feel sorry for himself. Edie must report to the police every 2 weeks as he is released on parole, and periodically take a drug test. He spends the next day looking for work, and in the evening decides to pop into a bar where he meets old friends who have long acquired families. One of them even works for the police. The same neighbor walks into the bar and immediately draws attention to the new night they spent together in her trailer. On his way out the next morning, Palmer meets his grandmother, who was driving to church with the neighbor boy Sam in the back seat. The boy innocently reports that he saw him spend the night with his mother, which causes embarrassment to his grandmother, who quickly changes the subject at church. Palmer's presence causes whispers among the people, and the police chief advises him to behave himself. The next day, Grandma informs that Sam will be staying with them for a while since his mother has left. The boy is behaving strangely. He helps Grandma with her makeup and plays with the dolls at dinner. Grandma mistakenly suspects that he kept the change, but later discovers he was wrong and apologizes. Eddie manages to get a job at the local school as a janitor. Gradually, he gets used to his new life, works, attends church, and becomes more and more accustomed to the urban way. Sam faces taunts from his classmates for being unusual, but Palmer doesn't interfere. Everything changes when his grandmother dies unexpectedly at the funeral. Sam holds his hand, trying to support Palmer, grieves the loss hard, and, being drunk, takes the boys to the police the next day, intending to hand him over to the authorities. However, after getting into the car, he decides to take the boy back. Life continues as usual. Palmer watches Sam ending the night parties. Over time, they become closer and spend a lot of time together. As time goes on, Palmer becomes increasingly involved in the role of father to Sam. He cooks his breakfast, watches over him at school, and uses his example to explain that bad deeds come with just punishment. One day the boy's birthday comes and Eggie helps organize a small holiday. While preparing, she notices a stack of unopened letters and offers to help sort them. Among the letters is a notice from a lawyer. The house is up for sale, and the proceeds will go to the church fund. Palmer is given 30 days to evict, and the news knocks him off the hook. As Halloween approaches, Sam chooses a princess costume from his favorite cartoon, Palmer Knowing. As children can be cruel, he tries to dissuade the boy by offering the costume of a prince or a pirate, but the son persistently remains with his choice. In the store, Palmer is approached by a familiar grandmother and, calling him a criminal, says that he is not able to take care of the child. However, Sam stands up for him, advising the woman not to interfere in their affairs. On Halloween, classmates tease Sam again, but teacher Maggie, anticipating this, came to school in a man's costume and explained to the children that on the holiday, everyone can be whoever they want, and there is nothing strange about it. In the evening, he, Maggie, and Palmer have dinner together, during which Maggie asks Palmer to tell me about his criminal record. Eddie admits that he was once a promising player on the college football team, but after getting injured, he returned home and got into bad company. One day they decided to rob the house, and when the owner tried to fight back, he beat him badly, taking all the blame to protect his friends. The next day, reflecting on everything that has happened, Palmer decides to study the laws of guardianship. Later, Sam invites him to tea with a friend. Once alone, Palmer spends time together, but they are interrupted by a distraught Sam, who explains that he has been offended again. Palmer advises the boy to fight back, but it turns out that the boy was offended. His classmate's father finds him in a bar and gets into a fight to teach Maggie a lesson, reproaches Palmer for this act, indicating that the boy needs him as a father. Realizing this, Palmer begins to address Sam as a son and even helps him apply to the club. The princess suddenly appeared. Sam's mother takes him back, but Palmer soon learns that the child has been sent to an orphanage and the authorities are going to deprive Shelley of parental rights. Eddie decides to apply for temporary custody but is denied due to his criminal record. In the evening, he comes to Shelley, offering her to voluntarily give him custody, but she is confident that she can start a new life and get her son back. The day of the trial comes and Palmer, along with Maggie, comes to the hearings with tears in their eyes. He tells his story and asks for custody to be transferred to him, but the judge refuses, suggesting he reapply after her probation ends. Shelley temporarily stops using, so her son is returned to her. Palmer watches their move from the window and begins preparing for eviction. One day he hears screams from the trailer and entering separates Shelley from her aggressive buddy. Seeing the chaos and disorder, Palmer decides to pick up the boy and leave at the gas station. He calls Maggie and tells her what happened, but she convinces him to return the child. Upon returning home, he is greeted by the police, as Shelley has filed a child abduction complaint. However, Maggie insists that he should be treated fairly because the boy should not return to heaven. Later, his friend comes to Palmer's cell, who reports that Shelley realized her inability to raise her son and decided to voluntarily transfer custody to Palmer. Sam agrees, then hugs his mother goodbye. They soon move into a new house, and Palmer finds a letter in the mailbox stating that Sam has become the first boy to be accepted into Faye's club. Now their lives finally find peace and stability. Thank you for watching the video to the end. On this channel, you will always find interesting retellings of wonderful films.